The Film Basement is filmed in sunny West Hartford, Connecticut, in front of a live studio audience.
Welcome to a futuristic episode of The Filmmaker's Basement. I'm Brandon.
I'm Andrew.
And we're going to be talking about some of the movies we saw this week, or in this case, movie we both saw this week, in addition to playing a little bit of a game show later on. And the movie we both saw this week, because there wasn't, I don't know, for me at least, there wasn't too much else out I was interested in, and this kind of hit the nostalgia for me. The movie we both saw was Lightyear.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lightyear follows the legendary space ranger on an intergalactic adventure alongside ambitious recruits Izzy, Mo, and Darby, and his robot companion Socks. As this motley crew embark on their toughest mission yet, they must learn to work together as a team to escape the evil Zurg and his dutiful robot army who are never far behind. So I really liked it, especially for a kids movie. I thought this was actually one of the better kids movies I've seen in a really long time. I don't know about you, but it really hit home for me. Like, really solid, like a really solid story. Like, nothing like groundbreaking story wise, but like a very cool like concept. Really good visuals, some kind of interesting, more adult themes than I would have expected for a movie like this. All tied in together with, I think, an interesting take on the character of Buzz Lightyear.
I was wondering how they were going to incorporate this into the Toy Story lore, and I was very happy with how they did that.
I like that it was very hands-off from the main Toy Story, like...
Well, yeah, like, obviously it's not going to be a movie about a toy, because that doesn't make sense. But at the beginning of the movie, in the opening crawl, it says, in 1995, a boy named Andy received a Buzz Lightyear toy for his birthday.
Yeah.
And it was based off of his favorite movie. This is that movie, which I was like, oh, I really like how they retconned this movie to be part of the Toy Story universe without actually making it about toys.
I also liked how it was very hands-off, like, in a way that it could stand on its own 2 feet. Like, it didn't really rely on you being, like, having any knowledge of the movies prior. There weren't even really any references.
There was in the beginning.
Prior. Really? Because there didn't seem like there were too many of them.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the movie, when they first land on the planet that they're on, Buzz is talking into his, like...
Yeah, the little...
mission log, and the girl character is, like, making fun of him, and he says... You're mocking me, aren't you? Like in the exact tone that Tim Allen said it in Toy Story 1. So I like the little callback, like to.
But that's kind of what I'm almost saying is that like stuff like that was very small. Like there wasn't anything like huge in your face about it. Even the way they handled like some of the villains that show up later on, which I'm not going to spoil, but like. Stuff like that. Like
I was going
really
to put a
handled.
spoiler. I was going to put a spoiler warning in this episode because there are issues with this movie that I need to talk about, and it requires me spoiling the movie.
Okay, well, why don't we do a spoiler-free
So we'll do
part
spoiler-free for first half, and then we'll go into it later.
Yeah, and I'll include tags somewhere to let people know. But yeah, I mean, story-wise, that little description doesn't go into the full of it. Basically, Buzz is part of an exploration team. I think they're trying to set up a space colony of some kind. They never really go too deep into it, and honestly, I really appreciate that, because I don't think you really need to go that deep into it. They're just exploring space. And they end up checking out this planet along the way. Unfortunately, it's very hostile, and in an attempt to escape the planet, their spaceship ends up crashing due to Buzz's, essentially, a mishap caused by him. And essentially now they need to find a way to get off the planet. And I thought it was a really interesting, like, approach to, I don't know, just like a sci-fi movie in general, because you don't really get a ton of stories about people getting marooned like this. And especially...
I mean, it felt very Star Trek-y.
Yeah, it kind of did. A little... Yeah, especially with how they're trying to get off-world, because as we find out later on, a little bit later on, because this is all stuff that's in, like, the beginning, like, first 20 minutes of the movie... We find out essentially they can't go to light speed. They cannot do that because the thing that does that is broken. So they try to synthesize a new one, and as we find out, in an attempt at testing that, Buzz accidentally goes a few years into the future. And as we find out, it doesn't really work. So he has to keep testing it, and he keeps going into the future, and he keeps going into the future, which I thought was, first off, an interesting way to approach that, a science concept, which is, again, not something we see a lot in movies like this, the kids' movies. Like, because that's a real thing. That's like that's how at least we understand traveling at the speed of light at this time and now. And it's cool to kind of watch that play out in essentially his real life, as we watch Hawthorne, who's his partner in the beginning, the person that like was making fun of him. We watch her kind of grow old and have this family while he's still kind of stuck in this cycle of like trying to complete the mission, because that's almost his persona is. He's this soldier who is like so determined to complete the mission that he almost has blinders on and he can't see life going on around him, which is also a very adult theme. I was kind of surprised they explored, because I don't know, you don't really get, again, like I'm probably gonna say this a lot, you don't really get kids movies doing stuff like this.
No.
There's a couple of stuff out there, like I know Infinity Train would be something that handles like takes a more mature take on like a children's show, but so I thought that was a really cool and it's a really cool concept for the movie itself, because then you get to see how like society kind of changes and evolve on this planet, and how like that interplays more into the story later on of like, do we really need to get off-world? Like, is this something that actually needs to happen? Are people happy here? And then Buzz having to kind of come to terms with that. Like, maybe my life doesn't have to be this one mission, or maybe it's not, and maybe this isn't the mission that I thought I was going on.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I really appreciated that. It felt very sci-fi, honestly. Like, because I feel like a lot of science fiction nowadays is more science fantasy. Because hardcore science fiction is like really exploring like how society changes in the face of like new technologies or new like hardships and stuff like that, and this went exactly down that path. Yeah.
And you should definitely go see the movie. I mean, if you want to wait for it to come out Disney Plus, I understand, but I don't know if you've seen the news that's surrounding this movie.
No, I haven't.
It's being tanked.
Why?
In its rating.
It's really good. Why are we getting tanked?
People don't really like it when Disney tries to shove social aspects down our throat, kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they shoving down their throat? Like,
so Hawthorne gets married to a woman.
Yeah, it's 2022.
And
that happens.
That's it. That's why. That's
insane.
Yeah,
that is
so,
what people are losing their minds over.
Yeah, and it's because I think it's because people are thinking that in every Disney property now there is something that's like that. And I don't know. It's weird to me that
it's also
that is something that people have a problem with.
Especially because it's not even that big of a part of the movie. Like, it's... No. I honestly loved the way they handled it, because they made it just seem like it was a regular thing. Like, they didn't make a big deal out of it. It was just like, she likes women. That's what happened. Yeah. And it's fine.
Because it has been in a lot of things Disney recently. Between that, Doctor Strange, the new Doctor Strange movie had something like that. I think Star Wars had something in the like new trilogy.
Maybe Solo. I don't know. I know there was that weird robot that people weren't a fan of. That really, I remember people talking about this at the time. Yeah, that weird robot. I was saying was like extremely feminist and like it was really overtly on all of that. I don't know. I remember that being a big thing.
I don't remember that at all. I loved K2. No, that K2 was. Oh no, I'm thinking of Rogue One.
Oh, because I don't know any of those. I cannot remember most of those characters' names. So, I never saw Solo, so I just know that. So, but that sounds like people who haven't seen the movie at all. Because, like I said, it's not a big part of the movie at all.
It's got a 5.2 on IMDb. Lightyear. We're talking about Lightyear now, and its Metacritic is 60.
Don't get me wrong; it's not the best movie ever made, but like as far as like it's a good Pixar movie. Like What? I don't understand why people would lose their minds over that. That is so silly to me. That is so silly and close-minded.
I mean,
that is what you're losing your mind
the
over.
The official reviews aren't, like, doing stuff like that. Like, they're not saying, you know, that's the reason, but, like...
That'd be insane.
But, like, user, or not user, but, like, viewer reviews are doing that. And, I mean, it's got a set... So, Rotten Tomatoes, I think, is your best option for rating. And it's got a 76 tomato meter and 85 audience. So...
I'd probably place it around there.
But on IMDb, it has...
Maybe
like
more in the 80s than 76.
5.6 or something, whatever I said. So that's... I don't know. That's just what I've read online. And
I think that's incredibly silly, but that's just me.
Let's see if I can find it.
Again, people who haven't seen the movie, because like I was saying, it's not even that big of a part of the movie. And again, that's what I liked about it, is it didn't feel like it was forced in your face. It's just like, she likes women, cool. She starts her own family, awesome. That's great. You get to see this because it also works into the story itself, because you get to watch Hawthorne build a life for herself on this planet and living her own way, you know. And you watch Buzz essentially waste his life doing just nothing and wasting all his time he could have had with his friend and just going off and doing this pointless venture.
So there's an article from InsideTheMagic.net, which is all things Disney.
Sounds very reliable.
I mean, it was posted on June 16th. I mean, it's a Disney, I don't know, I guess it's a Disney fan run page, although it has a picture of Rick Grimes and Mario and Harry Potter on here too, so I don't know what.
Once again, very official.
I don't know what, but whatever. But it was saying that this was before it even released. So it was released this came out on the 16th. It says Lightyear hasn't even debuted in theaters yet. The Toy Story spinoff has already become the worst rated Disney movie in history. Pixar Animation Studios, the Walt Disney Company, have been swallowed by online hate, backlash, and controversies surrounding their newest film, Lightyear, the latest addition to the Toy Story franchise starring Chris Evans. With Pixar pouring their heart and soul to keep intact a scene with a same-sex couple sharing a kiss on screen, the internet exploded with social media attacks and civil war regarding the matter. As a result, Disney reinstated the scene. The Pixar movie has been banned in over 10 Middle Eastern countries, including Egypt and Saudi Arabia.
That's not surprising. They're very restrictive with their film guidelines to begin with.
While Pixar was reportedly able to add back a cut scene of Hawthorne and her significant other sharing a kiss, Lightyear has fallen victim to review bombing. So
I don't say this lightly.
So
those people need to grow the fuck up.
Yeah, and this is the picture.
Come on.
This is the picture that I saw. It was a breakdown of user ratings for the movie on IMDb. 21% of people gave it a 10, and then it ranges between 1.8 and 5.5, between 2 and 9, and then a 1-star rating on IMDb. 52.3% of people were giving it a 1-star rating.
Yeah, people need to grow the fuck up, because this is like just such a non-matter. This is the most first world country problem I think I've heard in the last few months. Because it's such a non-problem. Oh man.
And this is, you know, and there was something. Yeah, I don't know. So like I saw this on Facebook, like the day I think I saw it, and I was just like, can we, like, enough is enough. Like, can we just let them make movies, like, and just enjoy them for what they are?
Just let people do what they're gonna do. Like, come on. I don't know. I don't even want to engage in that. That just sounds like a bunch of idiots argue. It sounds like a very, very vocal minority.
But this is why I was saying, don't pay attention to the reviews, especially on IMDb, because this movie is better than what it is rated at currently.
This is one of those cases where you check the reviews and see why people are review bombing it. Because sometimes there are legitimate reasons to review bomb something.
On IMDb...
This is not one of them by the sound of things.
You don't have to put a comment on IMDb. You can just put the star rating.
True, but if I know anything about angry internet people, is that sometimes they will want to leave a message. And if you see enough people saying, I'm downvoting this because of gay people.
It's actually, I've just pulled it up. It has 29,000 users, or almost 30,000 users have rated this movie. It's down. I mean, it's down. 43.3% is 1-star rating, which so 12,900 people have rated it 1 star. The next one is a 7 out of 10, which is the next one is actually a 10 out of 10, which is at 12.2, and then 7 out of 10 is 12%, which I would probably put it at a 7 out of 10, like a 7.5.
I'd give it an 8.
Yeah,
I think it's solid enough on its own.
But yeah, so I just found that interesting.
Yep, people will be stupid. Besides that, though, I do want to say another thing I really like about this movie. I really enjoyed the visual aesthetic of this film. Yes. I thought they did an amazing job portraying sci-fi suits, vehicles, planets in a way I have not seen in a while. I loved the design of the Zurg and his robots. I thought that they looked... First off, Zurg looked terrifying. And he also looked pretty accurate to what he looked like when I remember from him like as a kid in the Buzz Lightyear TV show.
And this is where I want to put the spoiler warning into this. Okay,
because I actually... Yeah, well, here, can we just finish up this real quick and then we can talk about that?
Yeah.
I loved the design of all the suits of the colonist mech stuff. Like, that was really cool. Buzz's suit, it's a little update on the classic look, but I liked that. I will say the one thing I didn't like is the Band of Misfits trope.
Oh, yeah.
That's getting a little bit old, particularly, I don't know. I'm getting a little bit tired of seeing, like, minorities portrayed as, like, the misfits and outcasts in films, instead of just a more general acceptance, especially in like a film like this, where everyone is very much so on an equal playing field. I would rather see a more competent team come together as opposed to a group of people who are like absolutely terrible and have no idea what they're doing, becoming like, a group that kind of knows what's going on. Especially that one character. You know who I'm talking about? The tall dude with like the gray hairs going through his head?
That's Taika Waititi's character. Okay. I love that character.
I did not like him at all because I didn't feel like he had any character growth at all.
Oh, he didn't. But he was just there for comic relief.
But then that's the thing though. You can still have character growth for comic relief people, but at the end of the movie, like, it's like I'm supposed to treat him like he's grown as a person and he's not a coward anymore. But that's exactly what he is. He has not changed at all. Like, that really annoyed me. Especially because all he also really ever does is whinge and moan. Like, that's all he does is complain. Like, he's not likable in any way, shape, or form.
He did have some character growth to him because at the beginning he was a quitter, and then by the end.
But he wasn't even really a quitter in the beginning. Like, he was just following along with people throughout the entirety of the movie.
No, are we talking about the same character?
Yeah, because they said he was going to turn in like his notice and quit the Star Cadets or whatever.
Yeah,
but then we get to see him throughout the rest of the movie being dragged around by these people.
And then he never when they first donned the suits, and they were going through, and they had the button that said you never want to push that because it's disgraceful to a Space Ranger. Yeah, and he was a quitter, so he immediately pushed it. So I don't know. I thought I liked the character, and I just liked the character mainly just because of the comic relief aspect, and it was Taika Waititi who did the role pretty perfectly, in my opinion.
I got very sick of his character very quickly, and I would have liked to see a little more growth from him in any way, shape, or form. Because we already had a character like that who didn't really have the growth. What was her name? Mar? Who was that? Like, she was that character who was, like, stuck in her ways old lady. I'm like, I can get behind that.
Oh,
she's
Darby?
Fun. Like, yeah, Darby. She's fun. Like, I enjoy that character. She's got stuff going on here. This dude just complains all the time. and just whinges and moans, and he isn't fun to listen to at all. But besides that might just be a me thing. I think this is really good. I think people should give this a shot, and if you are for some reason protesting this movie because you don't like the idea of two women kissing on screen, you need to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why don't we dive into your thing? The
So-
spoilers going on now.
This is going to be the spoiler portion of the podcast.
Yeah.
So
I think I know
if
what you're
you-
talking about, and I'm interested.
If you don't want to know pretty much the climax of the movie, go ahead and pause and then come back later.
Brandon from the future here. If you would like to skip spoilers for Lightyear, please skip to the 26-minute mark for Pilot Wings.
So the reveal of the movie is that Zurg is actually a future Buzz Lightyear. Of that Buzz Lightyear. And that is not how it's supposed to be.
No, but what
In
I will say is
the
I
original
loved that
trilogy.
they did that. I was a
don't
really
know.
big fan of that twist.
I don't know. They completely changed the story of Zurg. And I was like,
See, that is something I am personally very fine with, because I'm someone who, if I'm getting an adaptation of something like this, I want them to change from the source material in some way, shape, or form. I don't want this to
Right.
just be a direct retelling of the original story.
But if this movie is based off of the toy line that came out for Toy Story, then the Toy Story 2 line, when Zurg is chasing after the Buzz Lightyear that wasn't actually our Buzz Lightyear, and he says, "I am your father," that line doesn't matter anymore. Like that line isn't true. And it's just kind of one of those things that I was like, when they revealed that he was going to be, that he was who he was, and I was like, well, then this doesn't make sense in terms of the rest of the Toy Story franchise. Especially in Toy Story 2, when we get like a little side story between the Zurg toy and the Buzz Lightyear toy. So, I don't know. That was just like the one thing that bothered me.
That's,
the
I
most.
guess, a little bit fair. I would have to look into that more, because maybe there's more to that, potentially. What I will say is, for me at least, I loved it as a twist, because I had no way of seeing that coming.
Yeah.
And it fits so well with the story that they were telling. Like, thematically, you see Buzz early get stuck in this, like, blinders territory where he can't stop thinking about getting off the planet. And then as we get later into the movie, we kind of start realizing, like, all these people... He's been gone for, over 100 years at this point. Just constantly going into space and coming back. In that time, a whole civilization's come on this planet. People are happy here. They don't know any other life besides this. So it's wild to think that they would want to leave at this point, but Buzz doesn't understand that. But then we finally get to see, like, this reflection of him, like, aged, I don't even know how long, like 40, 50 years, something like that. And he gets to see, like, this is what he can become if he's gonna essentially follow along this track for the rest of his life. And it's such a good, like, mirroring moment. It's such a good, like, come to Jesus moment almost, where he's like, is this the life I really want to live? Because this also, because as we find out later in the movie, Zurg is Buzz Lightyear from the future. He essentially kept doing this in a different timeline, kept trying to get it right, eventually got the hyperspace right, but then, for various reasons, fled off into light speed and accidentally traveled into the future.
Well, he created the crystal
Yes,
that allowed
the
him
hyperspace
to,
thing that allowed him
to
down there.
have he allowed to have stable hyperdrive.
Yes. And then he went
And
into
when
the
he
future.
returned, he was basically court-martialed.
Yes.
And then he realized he could travel back in time.
That's where it gets a little hokey. Again, this
Yeah.
science probably doesn't hold up as much there. But even still, I think a cool concept. Like, he's so blinded by this that he will literally travel back in time to complete his mission.
See, I'm not mad about that reveal. I was just confused in the moment because that is not how the original storyline was supposed to be. And if this movie is based off of those toys, then that movie, Toy Story 2, that moment doesn't make sense anymore. So that was just I enjoyed the twist, and I enjoyed the villain arc of Zurg, but that was just kind of just threw me out of it, for that moment, and it left me confused.
Yeah. I will say something I'm looking into here, which does make a little bit of sense, is that maybe we're not supposed to treat this moment as seriously in the original Toy Story, because I'm looking it up here, and they're kind of making it seem like it's more supposed to be a parody of,
Well, it is.
Yeah,
it's a
that's
parody
what it's supposed to be.
It's a parody of Star Wars. But,
so, yeah, there might be a little room in there to play around with that.
But I don't know. I just don't. I don't know.
I could see where it'd be a little bit weird. Honestly, I didn't even remember that. That was not even something that popped into my mind, because I haven't seen those movies in years. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it very much. I liked it as a concept, and I thought it fit so well with the story they were telling. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know what I'll do here. Just put something in that says, like, we're done talking spoilers or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're moving on to everyone's favorite game show, Pilot Wings. Okay, so Andrew's played this game a million times, but for those who haven't, Pilot Wings is a game show where I pitch Andrew 3 show log lines. 2 of them are real shows that were pitched to real networks for pilot seasons, and one of them is something I entirely made up. And it's up to Andrew to guess which is the fake one and which are the real ones. Okay, so I think let's just get this started. Number 1. Based on Emily Bleeker's book, the drama revolves around Lillian Linden, who, on the surface, looks like a brave survivor of a plane crash. But she's been lying to her family, her friends, and the world since rescue helicopters scooped her and her fellow survivor, Dave Hall, off a deserted island in the South Pacific. Missing for almost 4 years, the castaways are thrust into the spotlight after their rescue, becoming media darlings overnight. But they can't tell the real story, so they lie. 2. Based on the movie 12 Angry Men, this modern take follows Dan Hastings, a businessman with a penchant for the truth, as the jury deliberation for a murder trial begins. His fellow jurors are convinced the defendant committed the crime and are quick to pass along a guilty verdict, but Dan thinks otherwise. Will he be able to convince his fellow jurors of this truth, or will an innocent man be sentenced to death? And 3. Based on an Argentine series, the darkly aspirational character drama follows a whip-smart doctor who comes to the U.S. for a medical treatment to save her ailing son. But when the system fails and pushes her into hiding, she refuses to be beaten down and marginalized. Instead, she becomes a cleaning lady for the mob and starts playing the game by her own rules. So, Andrew, out of those 3 shows, which one do you think is the fake one?
Okay, the last one is real. And I know it's real because it's a very, very recent show that I've seen commercials for. I just don't remember what the name is.
Okay.
But I know it's basically about a cleaning lady who, like, kills people. And it's on Fox, I think. That one is 100% true. The second one, I don't know. It sounds like that movie Shark, or the TV show Shark, or like Bull or something. I don't know why lawyer TV shows are named after animals, but there's 2 of them, and one's called Shark and one's called Bull. That first one though, the first one, I'm pretty sure that's a plot line from an episode of Futurama.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say the first one's not real.
Okay, the first one's the fake one.
Yeah.
Well, the first one is real.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it ever got made. Alleged, it's called Wreckage. It was okay. So the shows I pulled were all from 2020 pilot season. So a lot of them got pushed back. Nothing happened with them. Yada yada yada. Pandemic. So I think this one got a pilot. I saw something online that said it did. I don't know if there was ever a show made around it, but a pilot definitely exists. And you were right about the third one. That one is called The Cleaning Lady, and it has one season.
I was gonna say I thought the show was called The Cleaning Lady, which sounded right in my head. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah.
But I definitely remember seeing promotional information like last year for it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm
Yes.
pretty sure I was right in saying it was on Fox.
I don't know. But yeah, the second one was the fake one. Though I would like to see an adaptation of 12 Angry Men in the modern age. I think that movie would actually age very well. Because if I recall correctly, the original plot is 12 men are deliberating whether, I think it's a black kid killed someone in their neighborhood. And as you find out, it's just, he's not guilty. They're just all very prejudiced.
Yeah, it was
And I think that would
Fox.
hold up. Okay, Fox
And
did
it came out this year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because this one got pushed back a lot. It got pushed back to 2022 because, you know, you can't do anything in the middle of a pandemic.
And actually, it got 10 episodes in the first season, which aired in March. Or no, I'm sorry, aired in January. And it has a second season.
Okay, I did not see the second season.
Which comes out in September.
Well, I'm happy they got their show, because it sounds like something that would exist. It sounds quirky enough.
Yeah, I knew. And it's based off of, because you said Argentinian, right?
Argentine, yeah, whatever.
Argentinian, yeah. This one's based off of like it's a Cambodian doctor.
Okay.
So, but it's the same concept. It's comes to the U.S. for medical treatment to save her son, but when the system fails and pushes her into hiding, she uses her cunning and intelligence to fight back, breaking the law for all the right reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds actually kind of interesting. Happy it actually made it.
It's kind of like Dexter, but like a more ethical version of Dexter, I guess.
Where people aren't eating.
Where Dexter doesn't eat people.
Oh, I'm thinking of what's his name? Hannibal? Is that the show?
Hannibal Lecter? Oh yeah,
or
the
whatever.
Hannibal.
Yeah, that show. So I got it confused with.
No, Dexter kills people. I mean, he kills people for good reasons too, but he's not a cleaning person. He
can't clean.
He's actually a forensic scientist for the police department.
A good end.
It's a good show.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of good shows, why don't we talk about some of the movies that are coming out in the coming week? And we're still in that weird zone where there's not a lot coming out. Yeah, that movie that I know you're gonna see.
Every time I say it's coming out this week, and it's not right. It's actually the week. It's coming out this week.
It is. I mean, The Black Phone. Again, cannot watch this because this movie freaks me out.
Which already, not even out yet, but Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando at Universal already has a haunted house based off of this movie.
Okay.
Which I guess it's based off of a bunch of different Bloomberg movies, but it's, this one is one of them. So
neat. I did not know that. Yeah, I don't really have anything I want to see this week. Elvis, it's not up my alley.
You should watch Spiderhead.
Spiderhead?
It's a Netflix movie that just came out. It's Miles Teller and Chris Hemsworth.
I haven't even heard of this.
It came out today.
Spiderhead. Two inmates form a connection while grappling with their past from by... Oh. Okay. Neat. That sounds like it could be kind of fun. Could be weird. I don't know. I know I'm definitely seeing the Minions movie, though.
Next week.
Minions Rise of Gru.
Yeah, July.
Talk
July
about a kid's
we get
movie.
Some movies.
Yeah. It looks like we're finally starting to pick up on movies. I feel like we've been slow for the last month or two.
I mean, it's a slow year, I think, because like even July, there's like maybe on average, there's not even one movie that I would go see per week. There is 1, 2,
which is weird because I feel like we were having a ton of weeks at the start of the
maybe
year
3.
where we had a bunch, like at least in March through like maybe May, we felt like we had a lot of movies we wanted to watch. And it was definitely true of the year prior. We had a lot of stuff we wanted to see in theaters, but I don't know what's going on. I feel like that I would assume there would be more movies coming out.
Yeah, I don't know. And even in August, there's nothing. Like I don't know that we're gonna get any September.
I don't even know.
No, I mean, oh, okay. Avatar is re-releasing in theaters in September, apparently. Like the original allowed.
Okay, I guess we can do a review on that.
I mean, October. One movie so far in October
it's a very dead season. I wonder if this is like doing with the death of the theater or whatever. People are getting tired of showing stuff in theaters.
One movie in November.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very weird.
And then I mean, December we get. No, December's there's only 2, but I mean
It's
it's
still
too far out.
Yeah, it's still very
December,
far. Even
but,
September, I'd say, is still pretty far out at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that I'll find something to watch. Maybe we'll watch that Spiderhead thing, whatever that's about. But yeah, why don't we move into our outro? Andrew, do you have anything you want to plug this week?
As soon as I can get my software back for editing, I'm gonna post our new podcast called Fourth and Goal Podcast. We've already recorded an episode, so
yes. And I don't have anything I want to plug, so why don't we see ourselves out? Thank you for listening to the Filmmaker's Basement. I'm Brandon.
I'm Andrew,
and we will see you all next time.